Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Fuel for Success, the waterproof talk show brought to you every single day, Monday through Friday. The rain don't bother us, it runs right off. So this morning, on this beautiful, awesome, amazing Thursday, today, Matt, is Execution Thursday.
Tell them why it's Execution Thursday.
I have a to-do list. I set it down here somewhere. Oh, you know what? I wheeled it in on a two-wheeler, and my execution list, because it's weighs about 26 pounds.
That's
I have
funny.
a lot of things to do, and every once in a while, you have to just dive in, put your cap on backwards, write
Totally.
it on the whiteboard to remind you, and execute like a freak.
Like a freak. What execute like a freak means every minute matters. It means
That's right.
nothing gets in your way. It means we're moving at full speed, full engagement until the job is done. And then when it's done, we move immediately to the next thing, maybe taking a 15-30 second break. That is what Execution Thursday is all about, my friends. To my dear friend Serge, my really good friend Serge out in Canada, this, my friend, is matcha green tea. Very good for you and very good. And no, there is no sweetener in it because we don't even believe in sugar because sugar is of the devil, my friends. How do you like that for business and entrepreneurship? I'm putting sugar out of business. No, I don't even keep sugar in my house at all. Not even for whatever. I don't cook with it. I don't add it to anything. Carol says it's all about garage sailing. All right, Carol. Proud of you. You going today?
She is. I'm
Mike,
going today.
I so believe in the hat on backwards mentality. Whenever I get in the zone, hat goes on backwards. I'm sorry I'm not wearing one today. I can go grab one for you if you'd like.
No, I'm good, man. You don't. It's all good.
Christy's saying she
I
couldn't hear us.
hey, I'm gonna. If she can't hear us, it won't help me to say anything. But she needs to refresh her browser, most likely. Yeah, there you go, Christy. Awesome. Good to have you back. We lost Matt, of course, but that's all right. Hey, Execution Thursday, what that means too is I'm so focused on time that I won't go to the bathroom until I need another cup of coffee. That way I can do two things at once. Hey, that actually looks like Mountain Dew
I
that you're
love it.
drinking there. That's probably why Serge asked.
It does look like Mountain Dew, but it's green tea. It's got the matcha in it, which is kind of that it gives it that color there, my friend. But it's actually really good and it's very healthy and it makes me feel good. You know, green
Awesome.
tea is from heaven.
Adjusting her
I think
volume
everybody.
here. Sorry, go ahead.
Ah, Mike Barrett saying I need a Michigan hat, Michigan State hat, or a Tiger hat. Mike, that would be when I'm painting or I'm like going to
Changing
work
the
in a,
oil.
a landmine, or not a landmine, but what do they call those garbage places?
A dump.
Dump,
Landfill.
landfill. Ah, Brewer's hat, so you can get in the zone. Yeah, Elizabeth, hat on backwards is always time for the zone. And you gotta like play some Eye of the Tiger when you're putting it on. You gotta put some upbeat music. You gotta kind of look in the mirror and you gotta just go. It's time to just make it happen. You know, Mike, if people would get into execution mode more, they would actually get more done. They really would. They would get the garage cleaned. They would get the emails returned. They would get their office organized. Mike, can I say this? Can I just
Yeah.
say this? I don't believe that a messy desk reveals that a person is really busy or they have a lot going on. In fact, I believe that a messy desk is actually uh, it's actually a bad sign of your desk reveals where your mind is. So as a leader, you need to prioritize having a clean desk. In fact, some of the most highly productive people never end their day without making sure their desk is clean and organized. I'm just going to throw that out there. Mike, why are you disappearing? Are we under conviction here? Mike, I know you've got a clean desk. There's no way your desk is not clean.
That's where
There's
you'd
no
be wrong,
way.
my friend.
There's no way. Now they're wanting to see it.
I'll post a picture later.
hey,
Actually, it's not that bad right now,
hey,
but
I understand the guy just got back from a missions trip, so it's very possible that that desk will be cleaned today while his hat is on backwards and while he's in execution mode.
you know what? I actually, to me, there's a time and a place for it, and sometimes taking the like 5 minutes to move the things on my desk, it's not worth it to me. So, just saying.
But you know what, Mike? And guess what? You're one of the few people that beat the odds. You know what I'm saying? Like my was like 91, right? He's drank a Pepsi every day. He eats cheeseburgers. You know, he eats all kinds of sweets. He beat the odds, right? But for everyone that beats the odds, there's, I believe it's up to what, 2,500 that don't? Who said the other day that most statistics are made up? Who was
Joe.
that?
Joe said 98.7% of statistics are made up.
We make up. Like they say, 1 in 2,500 beat the odds when it comes to having a messy desk or whatever. Anyway, so what do we got today, my friend?
That would be true if the odds were 1 in 2,500. Hey, today we're gonna, just like every Thursday, we're gonna talk about business and entrepreneurship, business development, that sort of thing, which is exciting and amazing. And for all of our viewers that maybe aren't involved in the business, you'll probably have opportunities at some point in your life. So it's good to know this stuff. And the other thing is it applies to all kinds of areas of life, including church growth and personal development, all kinds of things. So that's why it's such an important topic. Um,
You know,
and
family is almost like a business. When you think about running a household, you have to have some business skills to run your family. You know, if you're going to have a highly successful family that blows it up in life and really lives it the way it's supposed to be lived, you're going to need some good business skills, my friend. And I love what you said, Mike. You're right. Even in our Christianity, think about what Jesus said. I must be about my Father's business.
right.
So even the work of God is business, my friend. So good. I agree with you. I just want to give a quick shout out to Ashley, Mike, all the way from California. That means that she's up at 6 a.m. right now watching our show. She's a big, faithful supporter of Fuel for Success. I love her passion. She's a entrepreneur at heart, very passionate. Ashley, shout out to you all the way from Cali. Thanks for getting up early and joining us. Mike, can I just say one quick thing, my friend? Do I have your permission?
Yes.
Speaking of business, shout out to Starbucks, who just threw down 400 cups of Starbucks coffee in Philadelphia when they found out we were taking it to the homeless. All these years, we bought it, we paid for it, and now Starbucks is really getting moved by what we're doing at Mission 25. And I think it's our last 3 locations, man. They have given coffee to us. So that's incredible, man. And I don't know if she's watching. She might later on the archives. But another big shout out to Mary in St. Louis, who really helped a lot with pulling off the Starbucks in St. Louis. I think between her and Carol, talk about entrepreneurship. I think between her and Carol, they went to 5 Starbucks just to make our little Starbucks run happen. So shout out. Today's shout out Thursday, Mike. Let's do tomorrow's out Friday. How about that? Today's execution Thursday, and we're not executing like we should. Let's dive into some of the customers' questions, my friend.
We've got questions. Hey, we just got one in from Amber. Um, it says, "What are the top
Amber,
3 quality?" Hmm?
Amber, who?
Amber Ricks.
She's not allowed to ask questions on our show.
Too late. It's up
We
there.
allow the Canadians 1 question a quarter. She used hers this quarter, so she's going to have to wait till the next quarter.
Well, the itinerant Canadian isn't in Canada right now, so perhaps that
She's
she gets
actually
it
in your
by.
house.
Yeah.
Is that fun?
Oh yeah, we're having a great time.
Okay, because this deserves to be talked about maybe on tomorrow's show, right? But there's some people that you enjoy having in your house, and then there's some people you actually can't wait till they go.
True.
Be the person that people enjoy having in your house. That's all I gotta say.
That's right. It's good. Um,
That's what I'm gonna be. In other words, take out the trash, help clean up, don't sleep in all day, make your bed, all these little things make you a good house guest.
yeah. Don't leave
You
your
know.
cords all in the living room.
Don't drag out 17 cords all through the house where the house owner trips everywhere. Oh, what are the top 3 personal characteristics of a true entrepreneur? Um, I'll name a quality, Mike, then you name a quality. I say the number one quality that an entrepreneur or trait must have is, I think, a good trait that an entrepreneur must have is an entrepreneur must, wow, that's a good question.
My top one.
Top 3 qualities. I think number one, an entrepreneur must be positive,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of sacrifice, there's a lot of patience, there's a lot of hardships that come along when you're starting and building a business. And if you don't have a positive attitude, it's going to be a long road for you. You got to learn how to laugh. You got to learn how to have a good sense of humor when things don't go your way. When you walk home and the lights have been turned off, or you're completely broke and you're like trying to find quarters in the under the cushion of the couch, or you're like taking cans to the grocery store just to buy a sandwich. I mean, you got to stay positive and you got to keep a good sense of humor. So that would be one of the number one traits. Mike, what would you throw out there?
I think that a really important trait for an entrepreneur is to be a problem solver. Um, because and I was going to make two things: a problem solver and a get it done mentality. Mission 25. That's one of our tagline. Mission 25, mission trips in America. Then one under that should say it's not a conference, and under that it should say get it done or make it happen. Um,
Don't whine.
yeah, make it happen. And so I believe that an entrepreneur needs to be a problem solver and somebody that makes it happen. So I mean, because you constantly are bombarded with barriers, with problems, with obstacles, and uh, you have to look at problems and say, okay, how can I get past this problem? How can I solve it? And then have the persistence, the make it happen sort of attitude to be able to push through it and say, you know what, I'm going to find a way. I'm not going to be discouraged by it. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to know that I'm sold out to what I want to do, so I'm going to find a way to make it happen and get it done. So that's like a bunch of traits, but sort of a glommed up spitball of traits.
That's good, and I love it. I want a T-shirt, and I want to give it out to people on our mission trips that just say "Don't whine," because things will happen. It's a mission trip. We don't allow whining here. Uh, so the third characteristic, in my opinion, and I love that, Mike, problem solver is huge. I think that a true entrepreneur must have the ability to take risk. I don't know if that's necessarily a characteristic per se, but there's just no way to succeed without big risk. I don't think people in business take big enough risk. I don't think people in life take big enough risk. I think too many people play it safe. I believe in calculated risk, but I believe in risk. Well, you calculate it and then pull the trigger. So I think that to do big things, you've got to be willing to put yourself out there, and sometimes that means that you're going to have to accept that you might fail, and you might fail right in front of everybody, and that's just part of it. You got to have a mental toughness. You have to have the ability to embrace failure when it comes, and still when the chips are down and the risk didn't pay off, you've got to have the ability to handle pressure. That's probably one of the number one things as well, as being able to handle pressure. And that's something Donald Trump teaches. I mean, think about what Donald Trump has been through. you gotta. I just see a lot of people. I think the reason they're not in business is because they can't handle the pressure, and I just think that's important in my opinion.
Good. That
Thank
was
you,
actually,
Christy.
yeah.
Well, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say that was going to be my number three as well, being a risk taker and learning how to take risk and how to calculate risk and decide what the right risks are to take. Um,
You mean
and
like
I
do
completely
12
agree.
trips? Do 12 missions trips in America in the 12 biggest cities, right? And drop the charge of registration like a week before your first event. Is that a risk?
Maybe we're trigger pullers, Matt. You and I.
We really are. We really are, almost to a fault. We don't think about things too long. You know, that's actually important. As much as people will tell you to think it through, and I will, and I'm part of that conversation, but I'm also part of the conversation that says, don't think it through too long. Don't, there is such a thing as overthinking things, and all the singles out there, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my 9 years of dating is I overthought it too much. There you go. There's some gold for you right there. You know, you overthink things, and then you end up just like overthinking it to death. How you like that?
I think you're wrecking
That's
Christy. Just saying. Hey, so my next question is, how do you run a business when your internet keeps dropping? I think we'd lost Matt for a second. I'm going to actually type in this next question because Matt segued well into it. Are y'all still with me? There he is.
I started talking about marriage, and the computer gods booted me off the system, my friend.
Oh, my next question was, how do you run a business when your internet is terrible? No, I'm kidding.
We do it all the time.
Um, Actually, you mentioned this, and so I'm going to jump onto this topic because this is a question that came in. Um, how do you handle the pressure and stress of business? Because you mentioned pressure, and a lot of us don't handle pressure well. What are some tips?
Listen, me and Mike are going to share this with you, friends. If you're going to go, if you're going to live life the way it's supposed to be lived, and if you're going to have high success in business, you might as well write it on Mike's whiteboard and go write it on your whiteboard. Pressure is coming. That's part of the process. It's just part of it is the pressure. Um, Mike, we both have been under severe amounts of pressure through our journey, so we both can share on this. I'm going to let you start, then I'll piggyback off and share a few things about how you should handle the pressure and the stress of business. Can you give us 2 or 3 tips, my friend?
Yeah, what I actually do is I walk right outside in the rain and I throw my hands up in the air and I scream. No, I don't. I think about doing that.
Right. It's actually not a bad idea. Your neighbors might think you've lost it, but it's actually not a bad idea.
My neighbors already know, so they would be like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Mine do too. My neighbors just look at me. You know, they see so much.
They're like, "Why are you constantly bringing stuff in and out and moving boxes?"
Wait, that's funny right there.
It's true. It's funny because it's true. At any given time, I may have 4,000 pounds of Snickers bars in my dining room. You just never know.
Yeah,
Um,
and then no telling the Carol isms that could take place in the neighborhood, and we're not.
yeah.
That's for a whole new. That's for like a week of episodes right there.
Well, and my wife is a get it done person, and she like makes things happen, and sometimes it's very big stuff, and I'm usually the guy that ends up moving the stuff, right? But hey, it's all good. It's for the kingdom. Uh,
Carol is one of the most get it done people I have ever met, and it's so fun to watch. Like sometimes I almost just want to grab popcorn and smile and just eat and watch, because it's when she gets in that get it done mode, it's entertainment, man. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that in a good way, Carol. It's not a slam. I really want popcorn and just watch because it's fun. Anyways, Mike, give us your advice for handling pressure besides screaming.
Hang on, we got to talk about the health benefits of popcorn on Monday. Okay. Um,
Hey, I know a healthy way to make it. We will talk about that.
Good. I know a healthy way too. So the to handle pressure and stress, and you know what? This is the reality is just like different people have different personality types and stuff. Different people handle stress differently. I mean, it's not the same for everybody. Some people literally, when they get stressed and they get pressure, they have like physiological reactions to it. They have, uh, heart rate increases and stuff that are way different than like I would. For me, I'm like very stress doesn't bother me that much. I sort of strive or I thrive in stress. But one of the things that for me personally that's important and uh, that helps me. I mean, obviously prayer every morning is a huge thing for me. Spending time with God every morning and in the Word of God, that makes a huge impact on how I handle my day. And there's just no two ways about that. I mean, we can talk about all kinds of psychology, but that is the number one key for me to handle stress. And then the other thing for me is really execution, because when I start to get stressed, it's because my list is growing, and what I need to do is I turn my cap around backwards and I focus and I just hammer some things out. And nothing will reduce your stress as much as
Getting
production.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually really good stuff, and I'm totally all about that. I love that. You know, Mike, you're right. For some people, they collapse or they crumble under the first sign of pressure or stress. You can't be a person that spazzes out. You can't be a person that flips out over every little problem and every little, situation. You got to learn how to just, you know, suck it up, so to speak, and realize, okay, this is part of life. It's part of business. It's going to get stressful. It's going to get tight. There's going to be pressure. And I love what you said, Mike. Nothing beats it than just good old fashioned plowing through it rather than like pouting. Whatever you do, listen, you can't be a powder. You just can't. You cannot be a powder in life. You cannot be someone who is a thumb sucker. If you're a thumb sucker, you're better off maybe trying something besides business. You can't have victim mentalities. You've got to have a toughness about you that pushes through the pressure and doesn't cave or doesn't go lay down in bed for 3 days. You just embrace it. You say, okay, it's tight. I believe in, that's why I believe in meditation. I'm not going to say the Y word. I will not say the Y word ever again, because I got so blasted. Like there was over 68. Can I just say this since it's my show?
Yeah, you can say whatever you
When
want.
I do yoga, okay, I am not worshiping the devil. I am breathing and stretching, my friends.
He said yoga.
Believe it or not, I just said the Y word on our show. Please don't tell people, guys. Don't call me out. But these little things, such as exercise, such as good rest, such as juicing, such as a positive attitude, such as good music, such as good relationships, such as prayer, such as meditation. If you literally went through the show and wrote down what Mike and I just listed and did these things, 95% of your stress and pressure would not even affect you. So how you handle it is you do the little things that make you stronger, such as prayer and meditation, and exercise, juicing and rest and yoga and walking the beach and taking a break. Some of you need a break. Yeah, Mike, I believe in the turn on the hat and get it done, and that's so important because nothing makes the energy increase like productivity and like getting things done. But at the same time, my friends, sometimes you need a little break. You need to just push away. Not 10 days. Sometimes maybe a good hour. Just go like what Mike said. Go for a walk.
20 minute
Go
walk.
lay in the hammock. Go
Yeah.
maybe go to Starbucks, grab a coffee, sit down, and just relax and think, and maybe read a book. The little things like this, I think, are important, Mike.
You know, I really like what you said there, and one of the things that I try to do is whatever I'm doing, I try to increase the intensity of that moment. So in other words, if I'm writing code, and I know it's hard to like think about it this way, but I'm writing code with intensity, right? If I'm focused on that and I'm increasing the intensity in that moment. If I'm taking a walk, right, I'm not on my phone like checking emails. I'm like clearing my mind, I'm looking at the trees, I'm walking, okay?
Good point.
If I'm doing
Good
yoga,
point. Listen, I'd give away this whole bookshelf right here to see you doing yoga. Like 10 weeks to a yoga session and I video it, that would be
stop
so
it.
epic, my friend.
Devil worship. I'm not doing that.
I'm ready to go on another cruise too, Carol. I'm so ready to go on another cruise. Like, you don't even know how ready. Um, so that's good stuff, Mike. I know, David. I can't believe I said the Y word. Caleb got the biggest kick. He still talks about it almost every day. We were driving down the road and he's over there cracking up, like literally, like busting a gut laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? He goes, Dad, you see what all these people are saying about you on this post about exercise and trying yoga? He was screaming, laughing. I said, Caleb, you know what? Everybody's got their own opinion, buddy. You just gotta love them and forgive their ignorance.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it can be a misunderstanding, but understand what Matt said that he's not. I mean, stretching and breathing. Okay. Everybody relax.
I
Everybody
don't even
calm
moan.
down.
I don't even make moaning noises. You know what I mean? I really don't. Be proud of me.
Good.
Anyway, what's the next question, Mike? Business and entrepreneurship.
Did we handle this pressure and stress of business? Good. So we got about
I,
4 minutes left.
I think we got people some good tips. Carol says group yoga at the Hopkins tonight at 8.
No, that would be a no. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not doing it. Okay.
Yeah,
Just to
I
be clear.
still see Mike. By the way, there'll never be a day that we'll wear yoga pants. So I just want to make that clear.
And
I'm
I'm
never
glad.
putting on the tights, ever.
And I'm glad. Um, Awkward pause. So the next next question I have, uh, wow. Hey, I
Like it's your
actually,
job to target.
what's that?
It's your role to keep our show on target, my friend.
I know what is wrong with me. I'm supposed to be executing. I actually wanted to bring up a point here that Ashley said when you said you'd give away your whole bookshelf full of books. Here's uh back to Amber's question. Some traits about an entrepreneur. When you said I give away my whole bookshelf, she's like immediately like, I want those books. A good
Who
entrepreneur,
said
somebody
that?
who's Ashley did. And the
I
reason
love
I
that too. And she has passion for books. She's always tweeting and asking what's the good book to read. Guys, if you don't read weekly, I'm worried about you. You need to be reading weekly. You always need to be reading. Read, be a reader. Readers are leaders. That's a trait. That's a good trait of an entrepreneur.
yeah,
Amber is committed to personal growth. Read, go to seminars, all that good stuff. Invest in a coach. And if you're going to invest in a coach, go for the best right here. Just saying that. Always get the best.
that guy.
I'm a result producer. Thank you, Mike.
Um,
So we got a minute and a half. What can we deal with in a minute and a half?
well, I was hoping that in a minute and a half you'd be able to solve the crisis in Europe right now. No? How about here's a question that came in. How do you know when to let an employee go?
And I'd like to see you and I try to handle that in 30 seconds. Um, guys, let me just throw this out there. This needs to be handled with wisdom and white gloves, and we're going to actually start next Thursday's show with this question. The only thing I want to say about this is in life, there is such a thing as a gut feeling. No matter what situation you're dealing with, the majority of time, I'm going to venture to say a very strong 90 to 95% of the time, your gut feeling is right. So when knowing whether or not it's time to let an employee go, your gut will let you know. You'll just know. You'll know it's time. And again, like I said, this deserves probably 10 to 15 minutes of our attention. So Mike and I will address this next Thursday because I think it's a good point, right, Mike?
It is. And I
Do you,
actually,
do you answer?
what's that?
Do you have a 30-second answer,
Actually, I'm just going to defer, and I'm going to next show, but
David?
I am going to mention something. David Sandy said high turnover equals lazy management, and something I probably want to touch on next week is kind of a, I don't know if you'd call it a new concept, but something that I learned recently about the process of hiring and firing. And I don't know if you know who Gary Vee is, but to our viewers, but he's running VaynerMedia, which is a big media company out of New York. And somebody asked him, "How do you hire the best talent?" And he said, "I'm not really so worried about it." He said, "What I'm worried about is making sure that I get rid of the people who don't produce." And so he intentionally has high turnover, which is an interesting
Yeah,
concept. And I'd like to dive into the theory behind that. But
that's actually good. I love that, Mike, and let's do dive into that next Thursday. But guess what? The good news is, my friends, is you can go to fuelforsuccess.tv or iTunes or YouTube and watch any previous episode. Don't forget, we'll be back together tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to wrap up the week with one of our favorite topics, and that is family and relationships. So we thank all of you that took the time to watch with us live today. We also thank you guys so much that are watching on the archive later. Many of you do that, and we're grateful for every single viewer. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. We love you. Mike, appreciate you. Let's go with Execution Thursday. Let's get it done. Let's at least work till 1 a.m. tonight, my friends, at least.
done deal. Execute.